Okay, so we will set up Active Directory 2012. Okay, so Active Directory we had gone through some basics about it. So it is nothing but it is like having Kerberos inbuilt. So is Kerberos is basically we have Kerberos is like authentication tool. Okay, you need to manage all the users database on single place, that is on the Microsoft Active Directory. Okay, that is having Kerberos already implemented within, and all the passwords, all the user database, even printers and everything, all those things will be kept and managed through a single thing. Okay, and this Kerberos is actually also providing you the SSO, single sign-on service. Single sign-on means you just need to sign on only once, and then you will transparently access all the services in your entire network for which you are eligible. Okay, so that is what is Kerberos. Okay, in Kerberos we have two major things. One is user principal, and service principal. Okay, so user principles are like whoever with the human users, basically those will join your network, or those will join your company maybe. So you will create the user ID and password one time, that will be given to that user. And service principal, like all the services. So in Hadoop we do a services like Hive, we do a service like Pig, Yarn, HDFS, HBase. These are all services, right? They cannot authenticate themselves. Okay, so for that we have to provide them the key tabs, basically. Using that they will do all the they will do all the authorization, or basically authentication process on Kerberos. Okay, second thing that comes with Microsoft Active Directory is LDAP. We already have seen this. So it's lightweight Active Directory protocol. Okay, so lightweight directory access protocol. The full form is LDAP, lightweight directory access protocol. So it will allow the access. This is like kind of access hierarchy, that how will you provide the access to the user and everything. So the LDAP is basically the hierarchy in the tree fashion. So on the top we do have the authorization organizational unit, OU. Under that we can have users, or groups of users, basically. Then there could be furthermore entities related to it. Okay, and there could be separate organizational unit under one company. So this is, let's say this is one more organizational unit. So I will say this is first, this is second. They are coming under one company. Okay, these organizational units are also like kindly separated across the geography. So I will just mark it separated, and let's say this is US region and this is India region. Okay, so this organization unit is like maybe completely separated across the geography. Okay, and then they all come under the same Active Directory, basically. So that's what actually, suppose if you are a user over here and want to do some give some printing over here on this printer on US side, you just need to select its address and then say print, and the page will come out over here. Okay, so that is how actually the Active Directory and the Active Directory domain is generated. These are all the part of a same Active Directory domain, and you can have several such organizational unit created in multiple countries, and under that country basically you will have all the office staff, their users, all the users, user principal, all the users, basically all the network resources like printers and everything that you will access as a service. will also be a part of this particular hierarchy, and they all will be like kind of managed. All the authentication will be managed by Kerberos on the top of this LDAP, right? So LDAP is first this structure we will create, and then for the authentication purpose you will put the Kerberos on the top of it, so that you just log in over here once. So this is your laptop over here, you log in over here, and then rest of the services on in this particular all the organizational unit for which you are eligible to access, you can easily access through your laptop using the Kerberos authentication. Okay, so these two are very tightly integrated things in Microsoft Active Directory, Kerberos plus LDAP. Okay, so this makes your Active Directory, you know, so I will say AD Active Directory would be LDAP plus Kerberos. Okay, tightly working together and provide you the complete solution of managing the entire entire infrastructure of users and other resources that will be on your network. Okay, and that too using passwordless authentication. Passwordless means that you need not to, or the password will not be flown in order to get you authorized or authenticate on your network. Okay, password will not be flown, and so that it is more safer than any other thing where the password will be flown even though it is encrypted. Okay, so LDAP plus Kerberos, we just need to check how we can now set the Microsoft Active Directory. So in our Google Cloud, we are going to create one instance, and we will name it as Mimant AD Active Directory. Let me just check which is the region for it. US East 1B already we have used. US Central, Asia Southeast, we can use Asia Southeast 1B. Asia Southeast 1B. I'm going to create one Mimant AD Active Directory, and I'm going to select again 2 cores for it and 13 GB of RAM. Then on here you need to select Windows Server 2012 data center, this one with the desktop experience. Okay, so we will get a desktop to work with, and it will take 50 GB of minimum hard disk to start with. Okay, so let me select allow traffics HTTP and HTTPS, and provide the keys for administrator and Mimant 10. Okay, so this is how we are going to create it. So why administrator? So administrator is a super user basically in Windows world, just like we have root as a super user. But since we are going to since we used Mimant 10 as the user, it is having the sudo. He is a sudo user basically. So using sudo command, he can do anything. So that's why we did not put anything separately for the root user on our Linux machine. But here in the case of Microsoft Active Directory, we had already created something for administrator. Okay, so let me create this machine. Okay, so this is created. Now there are multiple ways to access, but the best one is RDP. So if you click on it, it will open a kind of console for you. Click on this toggle full screen. Basically, it will allow you to resize this window. Okay. Then go to options and go to certificates and clear all the certificates basically that might be there if you used it previously. So I'm just deleting it, deleting all. Okay, and then here, from here, just pick this IP address, put it here, and try to connect. Okay, so I'm going to use the Mimanth user, because before that what we need to do is basically we need to set the Windows password basically. So for whatever users you want to have on your Windows, that user you can just put over here and just set the password for it. So it would be created internally and the password will be given to you so that you can use that user in order to do the login. So we will use one normal user Mimanth and one administrator user also. So let me just set the password over here. So the password is this one. Okay, so let me write it somewhere. So we may need to use it multiple times. Mimanth should be 10, right? So let me just recreate it. Month 10. And for administrator, we will create one. Okay, so these two guys, so one is normal user Mimanth whose password is this, one is administrator, that is super user whose password is this. Okay, now let me click on RDP and let me go to option again, see if any certificates. No, then I will connect to it, and I am going to use Mimanth 10, the normal user, and I need to provide this password. Let me do it again. Mimanth 10. So it will open this. Okay, so do you want this PC device and connect? We recommend is to home and what it's saying, automatically connect to devices like printer and TV. So currently I'm saying no. Okay, so this the window is small. Let me just close it and reopen it, and let me make it toggle again and resize it, then connect. So you will get the screen like this. Okay, so this is the Microsoft Active Directory Windows 2012. Okay, now we need to set it up properly so that we can create all the user database over here and all these machines, right? All these machines, that is all the Cloudera cluster and all the Hadoop, Hortonworks cluster, they should point to this machine in order to do all the activation and everything. Okay, so here we will create all the users, and those users should actually seamlessly should access both the Cloudera as well as Hortonworks clusters and use their services. Okay, now there are a lot of things, a lot of different types of communication with this Active Directory needs to be made from from the services of Hadoop basically. Okay, so we have one Active Directory setup, okay, but it is not yet set up in terms of like properly utilize it with the Hadoop and all. But let me tell you where you can use that Active Directory. So let's say you do have Active Directory over here, AD, and let's say you create some users and groups, okay, and this also will be managed either by you or maybe some other network administrator or Windows administrator, okay, and they will at the first time whenever any user joins your organization, it will be created over here, and that user should be synced everywhere, okay. Now in Hadoop, basically what are all the services where we require this syncing of users? So let me say this is Hadoop, okay. The first thing where what we have is like the front end of is Ambari, and similarly Cloudera Manager. Okay. In Ambari, as of now, we are using admin, right? So admin is like the super user of Ambari. In the Cloudera Manager, it is again admin, right? Suppose if there are all the users or groups of users basically from the Active Directory also want to access Ambari or Cloudera Manager, then what you will do is basically, so let's say there are list of users and groups over here, okay. They all need to be synced to Ambari as well as to Cloudera Manager, so that all the users from the Active Directory should also be able to access Ambari separately, okay. So Ambari can be accessed by the users, or Cloudera Manager can also be accessed by the users, okay. As of now, we do only one user, that is admin, right? Now suppose if I create a new user called, let's say Anil, okay, and then set some password to it, then Anil should also can separately log into Ambari, and he should say that he is logged in as Anil, and he is having certain privileges on it, like he may not have an complete administrative privileges, or he may not have complete, so he may have some kind of mix, or only the developer profile can be enabled for him, and he can just access some development tools, okay, in Ambari. Similarly for Cloudera Manager also, okay. So these are two entities basically where we need to manage the Active Directory sync, okay. Then the other services are basically Ranger, okay. So here it is Ranger. In Ranger also you need to in Ranger you may need to configure it so that, okay, he can also, I mean, see, as of now we have installed Ranger, and we have linked it only with our Linux system. So all the users from the Linux, if they do anything on our HDFS file system or Hive system or anything with Hadoop basically, and if the plugin is installed for that particular Hadoop component like Hive or Pig or HBase or whatever that Ranger is supporting basically, so it will be logged and we can track it, okay. We can tell at any point in time that who is trying to access HDFS and if the access is allowed or not, okay. If he's trying to do something mischievous to our HDFS or Hive, right, or HBase, okay, all those plugins are there, okay. But the thing is, the user database on which all those operations or all those notification will be seen is on those users are only for Linux, right? Suppose if you have created any Active Directory user and you want to have him access to HDFS or anything, then how will Ranger keep a track on it? Okay, so basically Ranger should get its user database from Active Directory. So this is one more link you need to set up with Ranger, and you need to sync everything to Ranger through Active Directory. Similarly, there is one tool over here on Cloudera side, that is what is called Sentry, okay, that does the same thing, and you also need to pour all the make the sync of users through Active Directory over here as well, okay. Then we do have all the Hadoop services, okay, all the Hadoop services. Then again, okay, so we have Hive that we just recently installed, okay. Hive is also a service which can have multiple different users log into that web portal and can work with the other components of Hadoop. Okay, so again you require a sync of users from Active Directory to Hive on both Hortonworks and Cloudera side. Okay, then you have all the services, all the Hadoop services like Hive, Pig, HPs, everything, okay, in a complete bundle that needs to be Kerberized. Okay, so Kerberized means any user he runs Hadoop fs-ls, he should have a proper ticket, proper authentication in order to access the HDFS service. Okay, so all those services of Hadoop, okay, needs to be Kerberized using this Active Directory. So I will just put one more over here. Okay, so these are all, I will say, Kerberized Hadoop, Kerberized Hadoop. So both on Hortonworks and as well as on Cloudera. Okay, so that any user who is trying to access any services should first authenticate himself against the Kerberos, and then Kerberos will allow that user to access any services over here. Okay, so you are actually trying to build your complete security package on the top of your Hadoop. Okay, using Microsoft Active Directory. Now this is which is you will find most of the cases you will use it. Okay, Active Directory to be the kind of identity management of your user as well as to perform all the security and every so complete security solutions you can implement using Active Directory. Okay, so that all the users you control which user will do what on your system. Okay, then similar to Active Directory you will have out of the box from Hortonworks or Cloudera you will find MIT Kerberos implementation of Kerberos. Then you do have free IPA, that is also one of the identity management you can see utility from Red Hat. Okay, that you can utilize in order to just like create this kind of model. But most of the times if you find Active Directory, it would be much proven solution basically for implementing security and doing the identity management of users. Okay, then you have server 389, that also provides a similar kind of features. Okay, I think it is also from Red Hat. So free IPA, server 389, Active Directory or open MIT Kerberos implementation. You may choose any one of them. Okay, free IPA is literally free, but again you need to purchase a license from Red Hat in order to get the support from them. Server 389 is similar kind of thing. So HTTP 2.6 has providing is providing basically free IPA, Red Hat free IPA already built in within the package, and you can use the installation of free IPA and managing the free IPA through Ambari console itself. Okay, till HTTP 2.5 it was not there, but in HTTP 2.6 if you go to the Kerberos or starting Kerberizing your cluster, you will get those options. Either you will integrate it with LDAP or free IPA or Active Directory or open MIT Kerberos implementation. Okay, just to put the security, more security on your cluster. Okay, so each one of these basically now we will see them one by one. Okay, try to understand. Okay, this is actually endless, and there might be some issues of over communication or configuration. Okay, and then you may need to rectify it on all the whenever you find it basically. Okay, and from the conceptual point of view, basically you need to very should be known the basic. You should know the complete basics of Active Directory as well, how it is getting integrated with other thing, right? So let's start on that. So this is theoretical one. Now in the next session we'll start practical on this.